There are voices in the void, whispering to you, shouting at you, leading you deeper into darkness and despair. But it feels nothing like darkness. It feels like confidence, like strength, and most importantly, like power. This is the essence of manipulation, to make you feel as if the poison is an elixir. These voices are nothing but noise. They claim to be fresh and fit, or turning points, an escape from an imagined matrix. They claim to be a university of hustlers who will lead you to the milk and honey of money, women, cars, and mansions. But have they? Perhaps for some and to a certain extent, but for the vast majority it has only led to confusion and contradictory outcomes. It has left most men poor, alone, and living in an apartment full of roommates, sharing a run-down beater of a car. Because there are so many of these voices, I will refer to these false prophets and profiteers as thought parasites. The thought parasites are not a beast that roams the earth, nor a tyrant who commands from a throne. It is the shadow that enters unseen, nesting within the mind. The darkness that leads to the rise of tyrants. It feeds on fear, on division, on the endless repetition of lies until its voice becomes indistinguishable from your own. It whispers that obedience is freedom, that suspicion is strength, that hatred is loyalty, and also that your isolation is companionship. And thus, the people believing themselves awakened by the red pill they are fed march willingly into chains they cannot see. This parasite is the perfect weapon of the oligarch and the fascist. Cheaper than armies, stronger than walls, for it requires no prisons of iron. Its cage is thought itself. These thought parasites entice you to believe in something they call traditional strength, suppressing tears, hiding vulnerability, and transforming your face into a mask of stone. Their doctrine promises you that emotional emptiness equates to power. All life and existence are a mathematical construct, and for all things there is a formulaic foundation. Those who follow paths laid in emotional emptiness find themselves 3 times more likely to choose a dark path of self-destruction. Ancient warriors faced unimaginable pain and hardship in a world driven and shaped by constant wars and violence. This is true for the samurai, the Viking, the winged hussar, for all of them. Emotional emptiness is the result of emotional avoidance, and much like mercury, which kills slowly over time in small doses, emotional avoidance is bioaccumulative. Each dose or suppression alone is not enough to cause harm, but once it creeps in, that small dose never leaves. The next second dose adds to the first, and the third to the first 2, and so on, until one day the pain and the burden are insurmountable. An ancient warrior's life was replete with recurring pain and suffering. To have chosen emotional emptiness was to choose death. Young warriors in training never learned to fight alone. They also learned to harness and understand a man's true source of strength. The ancient Mahayana texts, studied by countless generations of Buddhist martial artists, revealed that the true source of strength is not emptiness of feeling, but compassion joined with wisdom. Openness, vulnerability, and yielding, not hiding in an emotional void, contain the deeper power of the human spirit that supports a warrior's ability to endure impossible hardship and draw wisdom from it rather than succumbing to depression. True inner strength comes from the integration of emotion, being able to feel deeply yet remain centered, not hollow. Power without compassion is a delusion. It implants a tool into your psyche that the thought parasites use to dominate you and carve you so empty you never realize that it pushes people away from you. The thought parasites rule through division, and you are no future leader in their view. You are merely a pawn to be used at a time of great upheaval. Understand this truth well. They know that emotionally isolated men are easier to control, easier to fill with rage, easier to point at imaginary enemies, while the real powers consolidate their grip. They profit from your loneliness and want you more lonely and isolated so that rather than reaching out in kindness, you serve them at the end of a scope that will ruin your life. When you embrace your full humanity, both strength and tenderness, both determination and openness, you become ungovernable by those who would use your pain for their purposes.